All right, are we good? Okay, hello everyone. My name is Lexie. I am with News Channel 9. I'm a meteorologist and I'm also a reporter. So a little bit about me is back in high school, I've always known I wanted to be a meteorologist. I wanted to be on TV. That wasn't even a question for me. My mom said she has photos of me when I was 7 years old just talking about the weather. So I turned it into a job. I loved it. So I went to college at Virginia Tech, absolutely loved it, got my major in meteorology, minored in geography, and now I'm here at News Channel 9. So a little bit about what it took to get here, a lot of math and science. So I don't know if any of you guys are math and science junkies. I am. I love math and science. So I started off with a lot of calculus and physics. Then it worked into kind of meteorology based. How is this going to turn into weather? Then it gets more into, well, now that we're talking about the weather in math and science, how do we turn that into the atmosphere? What's going on up in the sky? So I did a whole lot of math and science all the way through college and a lot in high school as well. So I think some of you guys are on your way to college soon, getting your way into it. So something big about college is whatever you start off with freshman year is not how it's going to be senior year. So I got a clip of my classes. So starting off freshman year, took some math and science classes, but I also took a writing class. I have morality and justice, which was an elective to take. Then I have my intro to meteorology classes. That was first semester. So they want you to get a basis into what your major is like, but also let's get you exposed to other things. So I also took writing classes, fun electives. I took a ballroom dancing class freshman year, something fun just to get my brain out of math and science 24/7 from the start. Second semester freshman year, still have my meteorology classes, but I also took an event planning class. Learned how to plan a wedding. I will never in my life plan a wedding, ever, 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 for someone else at least. But it was fun class to take away from all the math and science that I was doing every single day. Then I have a few other fun classes, another writing class as well. Now here's the end of senior year. Every single class, freshman year and second semester of senior year, these were all meteorology classes. Now I did have an elective that I had to take both semesters, so I learned about families changing, all about families, married families, divorced families, had to take something along those lines. Then I have another class learning about media and society, digital stuff. So kind of fun classes away from all of my math and science and labs. But really from freshman year to senior year, I had my basis in meteorology classes, but there's also a lot of exposure because not everyone is weird like me and knows exactly what they want to do since they're 7 years old. So because of that, they want you to kind of get a basis of what you're going into, but some other fun stuff. So by senior year, there were a lot of kids who weren't even meteorology majors. My best friend, she was an English major. She had no interest, didn't even know about meteorology, took an intro to meteorology class freshman year, found out she loved it. So you get a lot of exposure to all different things. All right, so I don't know if any of you have ever seen this, but this is a lot of the math that I was taking. This is math that involves a lot of numbers, but also a lot of letters. So I don't know if any of you have taken linear algebra, differential equations, multivariable calculus. So this is a lot of the basis of what I was learning, because with math, am I using all of these equations every single day? No. But to get to the higher level math classes, to learn how to work it into the sky, had to learn how to do all of this. So once I took those basic math core classes, that brought me to all of this. Now I'm learning about the formation of different air that's going on, different fronts. I'm learning about the buildup of clouds, the life cycle of a cloud with all the math that I did, as well as all different equations, Newton's law of motion. How are things moving, but how are they moving up in the sky? Because we can't touch a cloud whenever we want, whereas we can touch a ball and learn how that moves. So it's a little bit different when you're working with things many, many miles up. So this was how I ended with my math. Senior year, second semester, there's more letters than numbers. It was a lot, it's complicated, but I loved it. All right, so now I did all the math and got that out of the way. This is what I do every single day. So if you guys turn your TV on and you're watching the news, you're gonna also see the weather. This is what you're going to see on your TV. In reality, this is what's actually going on the entire time. So what's behind me? A green screen, exactly. I don't know what is behind me if I turn around. However, on each side of the green screen, I'm not sure if you guys can see so well, we have little TVs on both sides of us as well. Right here is another TV, another camera. So with this camera, there's kind of a mirror, and this mirror is really projecting what I'm doing as a reflection. So that way, both sides of me and in front of me, I can see what I'm pointing at in all directions. So if you think I'm pointing at a temperature around our area, technically I am, but in reality, I'm looking at these little tiny TVs on both sides of me to actually give me a look at what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm gonna ask some of you some questions because we'll see what you know. Okay, this one I gave you first. This is a barometer. Does anyone know what a barometer does? Oh, close. This is going to be the atmospheric pressure. That's next. So this is the pressure. This is going to tell me what's going on outside in terms of, is it going to be a cloudy day? Is it going to be sunny? What's it going to be like when you step outside? All right, who knows what this is? Anyone know? Basic term. Exactly, it has to do with the wind. This is an anemometer. This is what's going to tell me where the wind's going, how fast it's going. Who knows what this is? This is pretty simple. What's inside? Some rain, exactly, a rain gauge. So this is going to determine how much rain we get. So if I'm on TV telling you about the rain, is it just a little bit of rain that your plants are going to be happy? Or is this something that's actually an extreme event where we need to worry about flooding? All right, thermometer, you guys all know about that. That's going to tell me the temperature. Now with all of that comes together, and this is what I'm looking at when I'm in the studio. Because when I'm in a studio, I don't have all of this right next to me. I don't have a window where I can look outside. I'm actually using all the computer models and everything to come together. This is telling me where's the rain coming from, where's it going. Everything that all the instruments are using right here on my screen, and this is what's being projected onto a green screen. All right, so going to do a little bit of some science stuff for you because obviously I love science. Do any of you guys know how many clouds there are? Anyone have an idea? So these are going to be your basic clouds. Each one's going to be dependent on how high up in the atmosphere they are. So if you guys look outside, you might think, oh, look, a pretty cloud. It might look like a little cotton ball. But for meteorologists, we're seeing something totally different because every single cloud's a different layer up in the atmosphere, up in the sky. So if you might see one of these clouds are going to be very high up in the atmosphere. So for me, I'm thinking, all right, we have a cirrus cloud. We have a cirrostratus cloud. Little ice particles are now forming up in the sky. So while it might be a pretty day today, I'm looking at the sky, I see the cloud. I know that in a few days, ice crystals are forming. We're going to get rain coming in the few days. Now we have our mid-level clouds. Then we have our low-level clouds. So each cloud's telling me something different. All right, does anyone have a guess how many there are? Oh.
10? I heard 10.
Nope. There's actually almost 1,000 different types of clouds. So there's a lot going on when you step outside. For us, every single one is kind of a little bit different. And you can have multiple clouds in the sky at a time. Each one telling us something different about what we're going to be expecting. All right, so now you know the instruments. Now you know the clouds. This is all coming together to teach us about what? What are we forecasting now? So we have 4 things that we are really focusing on here. Tornadoes, hail, winds, flooding. That's going to be our main focus with what we're learning from all the instruments and everything going on. Okay, that now brings us over into the fronts. So have any of you guys been to Florida, down south? Is it cold, really? No. It's very hot and humid. That's from all this moisture down from the Gulf, pumping in all this warm air. Have any of you guys been to Texas before? Texas is very dry. It's also going to be very hot. Now, what about Colorado area, maybe Utah? They're not going to have as much of this warm, humid air. They're having more cold and dry air coming in from Canada. All of these different warm fronts, they're all coming together, they're all mixing around, and that provides us the weather we feel every single day. But as you can see, right around here is where they're mixing together. And that is going to bring us to our tornado alley. So have any of you guys been right around the red or yellow area? Any of you guys been over there? Yeah, you have? Have any of you guys been in a tornado before? No? Anyone? All right, well, this is going to be the main area. Now, this doesn't mean tornadoes are only going to happen there. Obviously, tornadoes can happen really almost anywhere. This is just the area, as we saw, that tornadoes are most likely to happen. Now, as we know, weather is always changing. Recently, really been changing. So while this yellow has been our old tornado alley, we've seen a shift of tornadoes more to the east. So we've actually seen an uptick in Tennessee locally, more tornadoes happening, and this is going to be from the air really mixing around, moving even more over the past few years. Okay, now that we know all of that, how do we go on TV? So the first step I do is I'm reading a weather map. So let's go from the basics, everyone. Our high pressure, thumbs up, high means dry. You're gonna have dry air, so anywhere you see an H on this map, they're seeing some high pressure. It's gonna be sunny, it's gonna be clear. Because it's all this dry air, it's pushing any moisture, any rain out of the way. Now we have our low pressure. So if you want a rainy day, if you want to stay inside, you want the L. So anywhere where we see an L, it's going to be more of a rainy day, not going to spend much time outside because there's a lot of moisture, a lot of rain outside, and that's going to change what we see. And good Tuesday evening. We're rounding out our night clear and cool. We're seeing temperatures right now in the low 40s, some already in the 30s, but not going to get much cooler than that. Next few hours overnight, clear skies continuing, temperatures dropping down mostly into those low 30 mark. Now, if we look at our live radar, there's not much to even look at. We're seeing clear skies throughout our entire area, and this is from this high pressure system down to our southwest, keeping us warm, keeping us dry, pushing those clouds out of the way. So what are we tracking over the next few days? Well, the sunshine and the 60s that we enjoyed all day long will be continuing into tomorrow. Lows dropping down into those 30s and 40s once again. Now, we're already seeing our next weather maker. This is coming in Thursday, bringing in that chance of rain Thursday evening, continuing into early Friday morning. Now, as we look ahead into the weekend, we're going to see the sunshine, but we're also going to see a little bit of some cooler temperatures. So specifically for tomorrow, before all that rain happens, we're going to enjoy some sunshine, starting off cool in the mid 30s, mostly sunny skies throughout the day. By 4 o'clock, some clouds rolling in, temperatures peaking. You're looking at that right. We are seeing in the 60s, another day of mid 60s. So as we look ahead into early tomorrow morning, starting off cool, temperatures are going to be in the 30s and 40s. So as you make your way out to work, remember to bring a jacket because we're going to start off cool. Now, as we get into lunchtime a little after that, we're seeing these temperatures still staying in that 60-degree mark, another copy and paste from what we just saw. But then by Wednesday night, clouds starting to make their way through. Temperatures dropping down into the 40s. This is going to be with a cold front making its way. As we just saw this next weather maker coming in from the west, this is going to bring in the clouds by early Thursday morning. So mostly cloudy skies by Thursday, and then around dinner time, temperatures still staying in the 50s and 60s, but the scattered showers following with it. Now, this is going to be scattered. We're going to see on and off showers by 10 o'clock Thursday night, heavier downpours following with this front. Now, temperatures cooling down just a little bit, but our main focus is going to be these few hours of showers. Then by early Friday morning, going back to those mostly cloudy skies, heading their way out by Friday afternoon. So as we look ahead into our rainfall potential, not seeing much, staying around that quarter to half an inch of rainfall rainfall just a few hours, but we're still going to see those scattered showers throughout the evening time. So as we look ahead for the next few days, mostly sunny skies tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to see a chance of those evening showers into early Friday morning. Then by the weekend time, it's going to be breezy, temperatures dropping down into the 50s, then sunshine warming right back up into next week. Now this is covering our entire viewing area with these heavy downpours starting now, continuing on over the next few hours. So as we look. Okay, so as I mentioned, I do weather, but I also do a lot of reporting. Not everyone needs to go in front of the camera. I, if you can't tell, love being in front of a camera. I absolutely love it, but not everyone wants to do that. So here are a few things I've done in front of a camera. I did weather on a boat. Why? Great day outside. We were doing some event outside. I said, can I do the weather on one of your boats? Sure. I don't know if you guys remember, about a year ago, this time actually last year, tons of wildfires. We had a huge amount of wildfires more to our north. They said, Lexie, you know the weather, you go out there. So I spent almost 2 months just covering wildfires every single day. Also doing a lot of storm damage. Now locally we haven't had as bad of weather as we know Helene just passed through, but doesn't mean nothing's happening. There's still a lot of trees down, power lines down, so I'm covering that. But there's also people behind the camera who need to make this happen. So we have our photographers who are right behind each and every one of these photos. They're the ones who have the camera maybe on their shoulder, they have a stand. Every single thing that goes on TV also has the people behind the cameras making that work. So some more photos, more wildfires. Yes, I've been in the rain, holding the rain with the wind blowing, done all of that. Now a lot of stuff before we even go on to the TV to do it is a lot of promo stuff. So I've done a lot of fun little photo shoots, video shoots, commercials, all around town. But again, none of this is going to happen without our photographer and also our editors. Everyone kind of puts it all together. Now on TV I also can have some fun while I do it, and I've had the opportunity to bring a few animals on. So I brought a little puppy from the shelter, and then I don't know how well you can tell, but I had a kangaroo on doing the weather with me. That was pretty cool. Don't know if that will ever happen again, but that was very awesome to have. All right. A little bit of a teaching moment, super quick. Now when I had the little kindergartners, I make them come up with me and they do a little dance. I won't do that with you guys, but little explanation about some lightning because I love severe weather. We're talking about severe weather. So do any of you guys know how lightning forms? Anyone know? Okay, good. So have any of you heard the saying opposites attract? Yeah? All right, opposites attract. Pretty much the definition of lightning. So with lightning, we have negative and positive. So here we have our electrons and protons. So can everyone say stepped ladder? Stepped ladder. There we go. That's going to be what lightning is. So throughout the process of lightning, we have positive and negative electrons and protons, so much going on. All of these attracted to each other. So throughout a lightning strike, both of these charges really trying to come together because they're opposite, wanting to form. That brings us to a lightning strike. So overall, kind of scary when you hear it, but when you know about it, not as scary. Okay, now we have a few questions for you guys. Who can name me a cloud type? Who knows a cloud type?
Just showed you some.
I showed you some. What's the one that looks like a cotton ball? Who knows a cloud type? I'll give you one. Cumulus cloud. I'm sure you've heard of a cumulus cloud. Who knows of another one?
A funnel cloud.
Funnel cloud. Who else? Do you know any of them? Any of you guys over there, do you know a cloud? All right, we have cirrus clouds. Those are ones with the ice crystals. That means some rain in the future. Okay, who knows how hot lightning is? It's much hotter than the sun. Anyone know? All right, it's going to be over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Even higher. It's very, very hot. Each one can be a little bit hotter depending on how hot it is outside. Going to be very hot. All right, who can tell me the difference with a watch and a warning? So if I'm on TV and I'm telling you, all right, alert, there's a watch outside. We're watching for what? Who can tell me what a watch is? What's a tornado watch? Yeah, we're looking out for it. So I tell the kids we're putting our glasses out, we're watching out for a storm. All right, who can tell me what a warning is? It's coming, exactly. So now we've gone from the watch, we're watching out, the environmental conditions are very likely to happen, haven't happened yet. Now we have a warning, everyone stay alert. We are going to see this, if not right now, very, very soon. Okay, I didn't mention this. Does anyone know how big a tornado can get? Who can tell me how big can a tornado get? Anyone over here?
Did anyone go see Twisters? How big do you think the tornado got?
Bigger. Bigger. Right around 5,280 feet. So lengthwise, about a mile long. Now these are also very slow. Tornadoes can be slower than a car. So overall, as you can tell, because they're moving so slow, but they're so large, wind speeds can be up to 200 and plus miles. That's how dangerous they can be. Okay, this might be a stretch, but I have a few graphics up here, and we're gonna need some volunteers.
Who's ready to do the weather, folks?
So I have an easy one first. This is just from a day. Who can tell me what we're expecting the morning, afternoon, and evening? And then the next one, I have a 7-day forecast. And you'll tell me the whole week, kind of what we can expect.
So,
Is that like the percentage of
Hmm?
Is that the percentage or like the weather?
So here we have the time of the day, what the weather is going to be, and the temperatures.
so.
You want to come up here and do it? Or do you have a question?
What's that? Not up there, you'll say it? Oh. Well, she wants you to present it like she does. Because
Alright.
part of her skill, one of the job skills, is that she has to memorize what she's put together for her forecast. She doesn't read it off a teleprompter.
I know, I have to know what I'm saying. So I also have a 7-day forecast. If someone wants to go through, talk about the temperatures each day, what's it looking like by the end of the week, what's it looking like by the weekend into next week, average temperatures.
Mr. Ochoa, go do the 7-day forecast, please.
Come tell us the weather.
I need help. Oh, Elijah's going to do it too.
Come on up.
Tag team the guy.
So you have to have a news voice.
Okay.
That's the start, is you have a news voice, you have to introduce yourself, and then you go through and tell us what we can expect.
Get the branding right.
All right, so you have to introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Ochoa,
Meteorologist.
meteorologist Ochoa, and I have today with me Luck. And we are going to tell you guys the 7-day forecast. Today is Thursday, and it looks like we have pretty clear skies, 55 degrees, pretty nice temperature. You guys can go out, no jacket. But I would say bring a jacket just in case, because our temperature lows are going to be in the 40s.
Friday is probably 0% rain, 57 that's
Temperature high.
temperature.
That's the high.
What's 30?
The low.
30 low.
And then what can we expect this weekend?
Nothing. Just like go outside, have fun.
All right, how is it looking next week?
So next week it looks pretty clear. We have weather in the 70s. On Monday, we have 30% chance of showers. On Tuesday, 40% chance of showers. And on Wednesday, you can expect mostly sunny weather. Our temperatures will drop to the mid to high 50s. On Monday, we are going to reach a low of 54. On Tuesday, a low of 56. And on Wednesday, a low of 58.
Yeah,
Hey, good job.
they did that. None of you guys did that, so that was good. All right, so that was it weather-wise.
Okay, well,
If there are any questions.
stay mic'd up for a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, what Mr. Ochoa did and Elijah did, that was difficult enough. But when Lexie comes up here in front of a green screen like that one over there and does it, she's got an earpiece, she's got a producer, and in her mind she already knows in the rundown she's got 2 minutes.
Yep.
Right? But then the producer might be light and say, need you to go for an extra minute. She can't just stop in the middle of the forecast and say, I don't have anything else to say. Sorry.
So while I'm doing the weather on TV, what you guys don't see at home is in my ear, I actually have producers and directors giving me time cues because I can't just talk about the weather forever. So the whole time I'm talking about the forecast, I hear 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, wrap it up, 10, 9, 8. So there is so much going on because in a studio, there's about 3 to 4 people on average. You have the meteorologist, 1 or 2 reporters, and then 2 anchors. That's all I see in the studio. But we cover almost 500,000 homes. So there's actually a lot of people at home that are watching. For me, all I have is about 4 to 5 people in the studio at once.
Right. And so one of her main skills that she has an advantage over some of her coworkers, what makes her more valuable, which is local news. This is just my opinion, I'm not speaking for Lexie. Overall on the decline, a lot of shrinking jobs. She's valuable. You know why she's valuable? Because she is meteorology. She predicts the weather. She's in your community. This is something the government has sort of almost, I don't want to say farmed out, but this is something that they trust the media with, is the weather report, because the National Weather Service is located in Morristown, Tennessee, not Chattanooga, Tennessee. So when there's a storm coming, you don't want to hear the robot voice on your weather radio. You want to hear Lexie. So she's valuable in that way, and the ability to ad-lib, think on your feet, improvise. She can do that. She also mentioned that she's an MMJ. So the traditional, what we think of as weather, I know you guys don't like the term weathermen, weather gals.
Meteorologist.
Meteorologists, they're scientists. Traditionally, the old school, guys like David Glenn, who's still around, Bill Race, you rarely see them out in the field. Well, the industry has changed, and so now that's why Lexie, and also she's relatively, is this your first station, Lexie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she's relatively new, but the industry is changing, so they're going to make Lexie go out into the field and to cover not just weather stories, but feature stories. She's going to have to probably edit, turn packages, in addition to all
Every
the
day?
other responsibilities she has. She has to update digital media. She has radio partners she has to record for.
Yep.
Her job is not just the 4 hours or 4.5 hours of morning news or evening news. A lot of people think that it is, but the job is evolving. So if you guys are interested in pursuing this as a career, just realize that it's evolving and the responsibilities keep growing. So what are some of your responsibilities that you do?
Yeah, so were any of you guys out of school last week for Helene? Were you guys out?
Yeah, we got out on Friday, all because of you.
Yeah, so while you guys were out of school, probably at home, oh, can you go back one?
Oh, sorry.
This is what I did. I was outside in the pouring rain all morning long because while the meteorologists were in the field, they also want meteorologists out in the field. So we had some in the studio doing the radar on TV, but there's more to it, you know? I can tell you that it's raining or snowing or there's a tornado. I can also show you. So I was in the field in the hurricane remnants, had my little umbrella, I was in the rain. You know what? I love it. I love doing that kind of stuff because that's really what I wanted to be doing as a meteorologist. However, not only am I just outside, every single hit that I had, each one about 30 seconds to a minute, I'm in the rain, I'm talking, I hear them in my ear, they're telling me all my cues while I'm in the rain, while I'm bearing everything, while I'm talking to you guys about what's going on. There's more to it. The second it's done, I'm on my computer, clipping everything, posting it on social media, because not everyone's watching the news. I'm on right at 4:30 a.m. Are any of you awake at 4:30 in the morning?
I hope not.
Hopefully not. Some people are, not everyone is. So you might have missed the hurricane coverage going on at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. But social media is so big right now. So every single thing we do is also going on to our website. It's also going on to all of our social media pages. But now, not only can you watch it, maybe you don't want to watch a 3-minute weather hit or a 2-minute weather hit. We also have to write everything. So now I'm writing my stories. What did I experience? What's going on? We have our chief meteorologist, we have our senior meteorologist, and then we have our morning meteorologist, and then we have me also. So a lot of stuff that I do is I'm not only giving you a forecast, I'm also in the field live. I'm also representing the station. I'm here, I'm talking to you guys. I do a lot of school visits. We also go out in the field. Did any of you guys watch the movie Twisters? Any of you? Yeah? Great movie. I hosted the premiere event at the aquarium. I do a lot of stuff representing the station, going out there, doing what I can. So I do a lot of meetings, but then outside of all the features, I'm also writing everything. I shoot everything. I have all my equipment in my news car in the parking lot. I have my camera, my stand, all my equipment everywhere. Everything goes with me at all times. If there's a shooting that happens, if there's something that happens, hey Lexie, we see you're closest to it, you need to go. I have all my equipment with me. I'm out there, I'm shooting it, I'm writing it, I'm producing it, putting it out on TV so you guys will see it.
Yeah, the clips she showed you, she was lucky she had a crew with her. Sometimes they call it a one-man band. So that means she sets up her own tripod, she sets her own shot, as I hit my weather radio early, but she does it all. She sets the live view backpack up, she's doing it all by herself. She's fortunate that she has help most of the time. So
Sometimes.
that's good to hear. Let's see. So demands of the job. So Lexie is always on call and at the ready, unless she's on vacation. Partly because she's new, but also because weather, severe weather rolling in, she has to be ready. So if you guys want to go into this field, and not just meteorology, but if journalists too, producers,
Directors, all of them.
yeah, always be prepared for that call. And of course, the ability to ad-lib and improvise. She has to do it constantly because she does not have a teleprompter in front of her. But even a news anchor, reporters, if they just take bullet points, something goes out, maybe their earpiece goes out, they don't hear where they're at, they need to summarize the scene. You have to have the ability to ad-lib and improvise. And that's an important skill to have if you're looking to go into this. Remember, long hours and days, she's there until the threat passes. And then after it passes, they send her out into the rain. So she might work a morning shift, come back and work the evening shift. And it's a very difficult work-life balance.
Yep. Are you guys home for Thanksgiving? Probably. Are you guys home for Christmas time? All the holidays? I would assume you are all not at school. You are not doing work. I cannot agree with you guys. I do not do that. I spent all the holidays at work. News goes on 24/7. There's always stuff going on TV. So while you guys are home, maybe for any of the holidays, around 10, 11 o'clock at night, or even 4, 5, 6 a.m., I'm at the station.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that I just want to warn you guys about, because even though Lexie's probably, you've been there about a year and a half.
Yeah, almost 2
Yeah,
years.
so a year and a half. She's probably seen a lot of turnover already. Because young people get into this, and they think, okay, 5-day-a-week job, 40 hours. And then...
But which 5 days? Which of the 5 days are you actually working? Because we don't have Monday through Friday, 5-day work weeks.
It's a surprise every time the schedule is printed at WTVC. As a former employee, I can tell you. Ability to perform tasks not typically assigned daily, like she said. If there's breaking news and she just happens to be in the area, the closest one to it, all of a sudden, the meteorologist is now reporting on a crime. That's the things that you have to be prepared for. That's why we try to teach you multiple skills, so that way you guys can be prepared for anything.
Oh yeah, I went to school for meteorology. I did not go to school for journalism. I strictly studied weather, and here I am writing stories every single day. I've covered everything under the sun. I've done child abuse stories, drug overdose stories, because these are very sad topics that unfortunately are happening in our community. We have to report on them, and whether you study the weather, you study the news, you will be doing everything. We've had reporters who have had to fill in for weather. Something's going on, I just worked 10 hours. Someone's got to be out in the field, someone has to do it. So we all kind of get a mix of stuff that's going on, especially with breaking news. We are all hands on deck at sometimes.
All right, we won't ask Lexie how much money she makes, but I'll tell you this out. We assume she's a millionaire. But how much money you make if you go into this depends on market size. And it depends on a range of factors, also experience. The chief meteorologist is going to make more than the rookie meteorologist. But again, it varies because you're looking at about 40 grand and 200,000 I would say is an average, but your Al Ropers and Ginger Z's of the world, you're talking millions of dollars. It just depends on your situation. But as far as advancement for Lexie, I hope she stays on News Channel 9 forever. She's a phenomenal broadcaster and meteorologist. But if she doesn't want to do that, if Sinclair, the company that owns Channel 9, decides tomorrow, bye Lexie, you didn't do good enough, she has opportunities for career advancement because a lot of companies and places depend on meteorologists, so logistics companies. There was a tragic story many years ago. A freighter turned into a hurricane and sank the freighter. They didn't have a meteorologist helping them out. Logistics, trucking companies, they need someone like Lexie to help them make sure the trucks aren't driving into storm.
It is not just on TV at all.
Yeah.
There is a whole world of meteorologists not on camera, have no interest in being on TV.
Yeah, so production companies, they need to know when to shoot if the weather's going to be nice. Agricultural companies, we're in a drought. How much water do we need to buy for our crops? How much do we need to bring in? The electrical industry, we have former meteorologists from RCB that work at TVA. So they want to know from the hurricane, open the spill gates. How much power are we going to
A lot of airlines. A lot of airlines, even the military, they all want to know, can they fly their planes? Can they send their people out? That's a huge industry that needs a lot of meteorologists.
And finally, because of her name, face recognition for being on TV, her ability to ad-lib, her ability to speak, she can step into public relations easily. Because even though she hasn't been writing press releases, full-time, they say, oh, you're Lexie from the news. Yeah, I know you. Come on board. I know you can do it. So this is a field that you can step in, and it's not just limited to being on TV in front of a green screen. So I just wanted to make that a point to bring up. Okay, these are my questions. I had a couple of questions myself.
Okay.
What do these weather seals mean?
Okay, so to be a teacher, you have to go to school. You have to get a degree. So for me, I went to college. I got my degree in meteorology. So I can be a meteorologist, and I went on TV. However, to be an official, fully certified, you want to advance yourself, you need a seal. So this is a huge test that you can take. National Weather Association, American Meteorological Society. These are tests, written exams, as well as visual and social media exams. They want to know that you can not only predict the weather on TV. You can talk about it. You have to send in clips of you doing it for 4 minutes. They also want to see kind of visual, social media aspects of you explaining the weather. And there's a huge written exam as well. It's like almost $500, I think, to prove that you are a meteorologist, and then you can skyrocket, go anywhere you want in your career.
How long does it take to complete that to get a seal?
So you have to be on TV as a meteorologist for 2 years before you can start applying for it.
Okay, I was just curious about that process. And that comes from, I worked in TV for 14 years, and I still was, I'm glad you clarified. I never stopped to ask the meteorologist about the weather.
Yes, so in
So,
a few months, then I can start studying and applying and everything.
what do these stand for? NOAA and the National Weather Service.
Are you asking me, or do you want them to answer?
Do
Do any of you guys know?
what they stand? Well, one, if you can read one of them, but what do they do exactly?
Yeah, so these are big government, national organizations, and they give us all of their information. So I showed you guys some of the weather graphics that we use. They have satellites everywhere. They are the ones who give us a lot of information. They're telling us where fronts are. There's a low pressure coming in. They show us a lot of their own graphics. And then they also they'll be the ones who instruct tornado warnings, tornado watches, anything going on. If we go on your TV and tell you there's a tornado warning, it's because the National Weather Service has announced it. So they make all the first calls. They're the ones all on their computers researching. So if you don't want to even be on TV, but you like science, weather, these are the ones who are more behind the scenes figuring everything out. And they tell the ones on TV to instruct you guys at home.
Okay, and
Oh no, you're good.
so one question from a student, how do you handle negative feedback?
Oh gosh, it's huge. I will get criticized for absolutely everything. If you don't like the color of my dress, I'll get a comment. If my hair didn't look good one day, I'll get a comment. People just speak their mind. Anything and everything I've gotten comments about. It's hard at first, and you just have to get through it. It's part of the industry, as you're a public figure, and people will tell you how they feel. I've been at Starbucks before, and I'll have some guy criticize something I did, and thank you for your feedback, and you just move on. We all go through it. It's just something that happens with our industry.
I'll just give you a couple more because I know you need to get out of here.
Okay, no, you're good.
This one comes from Emma. What's the hardest part about your job?
Hardest part is probably the feedback, is the negative feedback. I've spent my whole life so far wanting to do this, and I love what I do so much. So the negative feedback is definitely the hardest part. Is if I put all this effort into a weathercast and all of a sudden someone sends a paragraph how awful I did, that's something that happens. We all get it. We all receive it. And with one negative comment is 50 amazing comments telling me how great I did. So I think that was definitely the hard part at first, is getting past that, of dealing with negative feedback, dealing with negative comments, because one bad comment is switched around with 50 amazing, you did great comments.
And let's see, I'll get one more in.
Okay.
Sorry. Melvin asked, do you still have extra time at the end of the day after your job? Do you have any downtime?
I do. It's not a lot, because usually after a full day of all of this, I'm exhausted. But sometimes. Depends on what shift I do. I do a bunch of shifts. If I do the night side shift, my shift is around 4:30 to midnight, so my downtime's before. If I do the morning shift, 4 a.m. to 12:30, after that is my free time, but I'm also exhausted from waking up and being on TV at 4 a.m. So yes, depends on what shift I have.
Okay,
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it.
This comes from Jericho. If you mentioned in your biography, and you told us that you wanted to be you were giving the weather forecast as a kid, if you weren't a meteorologist, what occupation would you have gone for?
Ooh, I'd be a teacher. I love teaching, I love kids, and I love the weather, so I think I was a science teacher.
And this comes from Brooklyn. Is being a meteorologist stressful?
Yes, very, very stressful at times. We've had times when we had 10 plus tornado warnings pop up at a time, and every single person obviously wants to know, is their home okay? Are they okay? And you just got to go through it person by person. I've done live streams where we had 60,000 people watching me at once, just flooding comments of my house, my house, my house, my house, you know, and you got to go through, because I want everyone to be safe, but I also need to do my job and make sure everyone's being informed about what's going on. So, kind of depends on the day of what's going on.
All right, well, that concludes. I won't put you through any more questions. If you want to follow Lexie, there's her Facebook link. Of course, she's on the air at various times, anytime they ask
I
her
know,
to be
I'm going to go straight to
on
TV
ABC,
right from here.
Fox Chattanooga, get a weather radio. That's one thing I wanted to bring up.
That's where I'm heading to today.
Yeah, weather radio event?
Yep.
Oh, good.